What's it like going to an Omega launch party from the second you get in there? What's it all about, please?
It was neat. This one was a bit strange because I think it was somewhat last minute, and to fill the room, it was somewhat of a collaboration with some fashion model agency and whatnot, and then a bunch of Toronto socialites. So, of the people there who actually cared about the watches, was maybe 25%. So there was definite blend of people who just wanted to be seen, people who actually were interested in the watches, and then others who were there to cover the event or provide press. But it's always fun time. They always try to go all out. So the catering and the open bars is always nice. But yeah, it was strange because of the people who cared about watches was maybe every third or fourth person who was there. The rest were there for their Instagram selfies and they're just to be there. But the watches were spectacular. So these are the new the Summer Blue. Originally, it was the 75th anniversary Seamaster series, and they abandoned that idea. Went more just Summer Blue. This way, every year they can probably add to the series. But the pieces are really nice. Omega's done a really great job lately, kind of reestablishing where they sit and a bit more of a focused collection. So the new pieces are really good. The ultra deep I loved. So that's their 11,000 feet deep diver.
Like any of us are going to see that depth.
But it just tells you how bulletproof it is. So, but because that's what I say with even 300 meters, no one ever will descend to that depth, but it reflects the static pressure at that depth that the watch can withstand. So at any given time, a watch might be subjected to forces that are the equivalent of 300 meters, like even a powerful massaging shower jet. If that hits your watch, it could give the same impact that is the equivalent of 300-meter water depth. And just knowing that the watch can handle it is just reflects how bulletproof it is. But for the most part, it's marketing and bragging rights. So they had to do something to compete with the deep sea.
Now, a couple of questions come to my mind as you're telling me this. First of all, so this was not your first launch party, I take it, with
For Omega,
Omega?
no.
Okay. And do you act so I would say compared to, we always bring back Rolex, obviously, but compared to their kind of launch party, which none of us actually get to see, but
No one
you
doesn't. Yeah.
not, I've never heard of them actually have a launch party and everything else. It's
No,
more like here's
they
the
don't have to.
advertisements and here's what you're never gonna see.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
So when
But
you're at the Omega launch party, do you get to actually hold the watches, put them on? Like how does it work?
oh yeah, yeah. It's they're on display, but you can do anything you like with them, which is kind of what they wanted for a lot of people. They wanted wrist shots and poses and whatnot, and it's kind of that different type of advertising that slowly disseminates through different channels rather than just putting an ad up in Times Squares and whatnot. So yeah, you get to feel them and wear them and take pictures with them. So that part was great, and like I said, the collection I absolutely loved.
Now, do they also have like British hosts there that are explaining to you the watch in a sophisticated British accent and making you drool on the watch? Wanted like, do
Yeah,
they
no,
do they have like formal presentation and where they're announcing each of the watches? Like, walk us through that
no,
part of it.
just
No.
just a small speech from the president of Omega Canada, welcoming people and briefly talking about the line, and then that was it. So the main so of the Omega staff, they have the head of sales for Canada was there, and so this event was in Toronto, but it was a national event. So they flew in a lot of their retailers and jewelers from Vancouver, Calgary, all across Canada. So the head of Canadian sales was there. Some of the heads of like Royal de Versailles and some of the local authorized dealers were there, and then so the Omega staff was there a little bit to talk up the watches, but not that much. For the most part, they just let you roam, and it was kind of open season on the watches.
Now, when they launch at a launch party, How long from the launch party date are they actually in the stores, to your knowledge?
Well, this is what they've done a really great job of because before, even with Baselworld, the biggest criticism was introducing these watches at Baselworld or Watches and Wonders now, and you don't see them in stores until 8 to 9 months later, after which time you've lost interest. So now, whenever they do a launch, it's for sale and ready to go. So these pieces are already out there. I haven't seen any Canadian dealers with them yet, but they're definitely readily available in the US. There was
And
nothing in Alaska,
no,
but
I imagine not.
Alaska was still a lot of gray dealer Rolex, but very very unrealistic with valuations.